Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick. Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick. Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick. Nick.
Shane.
Nick. Nick.
Shane.
Nick. Nick.
Shane.
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 Nick. Nick.
Shane.
Nick. Nick.
Shane.
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 Nick. Nick.
Shane.
Nick. Nick.
Shane.
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 What's up,
Yes.
what's up, everybody? You like that, Shane?
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. I love the way it like shakes in the intro.
Yeah, get them excited. You know what I'm saying? We rocking over here. Excuse me. Welcome everybody to the Nick and Shane Show. We appreciate you for being here. Hi, I'm Nick Wildstar.
Hi, I'm Shane Driscoll.
Shane. Yeah, that guy over there. He's over here to my left. Well, on your right of the screen. I don't know.
I still can't. Oh, I did it right. Put this.
You did it right. All right. Yeah. See, we did it. All right, you guys. Welcome to the Nick and Shane Show. We appreciate you for being here. Of course, if you are watching and you would like to join us in the discussion, please be sure to drop a comment or question during the broadcast at any time. Or if you want to jump in the studio, click that link in the description. We appreciate you for, being respectful of all of our audience members, whoever they may be, if you choose to jump in the studio. You know, we get
I'm
some
gonna
great
add.
Yes.
I'm gonna add. Let's go ahead and be respectful to the hosts of the show.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. You're right about that. The guy came. I think he just had a bone to pick with you. You know what I'm saying?
Freaking white people, man. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that got a lot of bones to pick, especially with me. You know, we see the comments coming out as soft tart, all of this shit. Anyways, but yeah, we appreciate you guys for being here again on the Nick and Shane Show. Today, we're going to be talking about toxic masculinity. And you've heard this, I guess, term be used recently by the corporate media. You know, they want to coin it and phrase it and package it up and have people think of it what they will. But I actually found a Google definition of it. That's what we have here.
Let's pull it up.
Yeah.
What we got?
All right. Toxic masculinity is thus defined by adherence to traditional male gender roles that consequently stigmatize and limit the emotions boys and men may comfortably express while elevating other emotions such as anger. It is marked by economic, political, and social expectations that men seek and achieve dominance. What you think about that, Shane?
Well, minus the last sentence, I think it's a great definition.
Yeah, as far as what's concerned.
As far as toxic masculinity is concerned, right? Adherence to traditional male gender roles.
Right, because basically what it's saying in a nutshell, I guess, just to summarize it, is that toxic masculinity is perceived as men only being able to express their emotions by way of aggression or violence or, whatever the case may be. Any other way other than that is looked at as being weakness,
Correct.
Right. So I think in the society that we have in so many ways, it's kind of gotten the average male comfortable in being that way.
I think
because we're not allowed to emote, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's in that violent, angry way that people pay attention to.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Nick. And I do think that there is tradition is involved in it. I think stigmatization is involved in it. And I think at this point, let's go ahead. I mean, we should probably share the video so people have some context, but you know, like we all go through difficult times in our lives, male or female, it doesn't matter. We all go through difficult times in our lives. But it's especially difficult when you're going through a difficult time in your life and you're struggling with whatever emotions there are that are around that. And then you run across a video like this. And this to me defines really toxic masculinity, because this to me is the problem with men. And I'm going to say this with a grain of salt. When I first saw this video, as I was dealing with my own hardships and my own difficult things in life, I watched this video, and I'm going to be honest, I related to this video. This video spoke to my emotions in the moment, and in the moment, it was powerful. And that's kind of why we wanted to talk about it tonight. So, you know, you want to go ahead and roll it so people can see what we're talking about?
For sure. Let's see.
Be honest, who do you call when you are at your lowest? Who is that one person?
Nobody. I'm a man. No one cares. Not a single soul. Nobody. No one. Because I'm all alone. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say I don't call.
Nobody. I'm a guy. Nobody gives a shit.
Speaking for the guys when I say this, literally no one.
Do y'all call someone? Nobody. Just no one. No one's talking to you guys.
No one. I'm a man.
No one cares.
No one. Not a single fucking person.
I wouldn't call anyone. I wouldn't turn to a single person on this earth because they don't care. They will just find a way to use it against me one day.
We can call somebody? I just thought nobody gave a fuck because I was a man.
Be honest, who do you call when you are at your lowest?
There it is.
So I like how the last guy used a little bit of humor to kind of lighten things up a bit.
Of course. And I will tell you, as somebody who uses humor to lighten things up a bit, it's you know, a lot of times it's to mask that emotion. And I think in his case, the emotion is, and I think a lot of people feel this, but we'll talk about guys in particular, right? When things get tough, things get lonely really fast, right? Your friends seem to disappear. They don't. It feels like your friends disappear. It feels like your family disappears. And really it's because as men, we tend to disappear into our own heads, into our own minds, and deal with things by ourselves. And when we do that, we play into the message of this video, which is that we're alone, that there is nobody there for us, that you're effed. And I believe that that's probably the most toxic thing as a man any of us do as males, is to pretend like we're all alone, that we're on an island and that we're isolated. It's the farthest thing from the truth. You're one text message, you're one phone call away, you're one conversation with a friend away, you're having no idea that they're going through the same exact crap as you, right? It just takes a little bit of effort and a little bit of courage. And actually, let me rewind that. It takes a little bit of effort, and sometimes it takes a lot of courage. But I think it's appropriate, and acknowledging that it takes a lot of courage to reach out and not be isolated. I think that plays into a lot of other things that we'll talk about tonight. But I wanted to start this show tonight. I asked Nick if we could start the show by talking about this particular video and talking about the fact that here we have mainstream media in the form of TikTok feeding a narrative, whether intentional or unintentional, feeding a narrative that if you're a guy and you've got problems, well, you're screwed. You got no one. No one's going to help you. No, there's no support. There is no answer. You're just stuck. It's not true. It's a toxic message, and it's a message that I think a lot of us as men play in our own heads. So anyhow, I wanted to get that out there. I wanted to talk about it because, like I said, I think it's going to bleed into some other things that we'll talk about tonight. But Nick, I'll pipe down and let you get your 2 cents in on this.
Well, if anything, I think the video is bringing to light those feelings that are harbored by men and buried because they feel like they don't have an outlet. So it's bringing that to attention. They did it in a way where they're, again, capitalizing on that that men feel that way. And it would be a shame if they didn't follow up in some way, shape, or form to kind of, I don't know, provide some bit of an outlet. But yeah, if anything, I think that's what we need to do as a community, is come together and provide that, because it seems as if the only way that you can get that out is, I guess, through therapy or some, seeing some psychologist or something like that, or going to some AA meetings or whatever the case may be. Or the other way is, the aggressive path. And that usually ends up being the military or law enforcement or some, profession where the guy can feel like they're being macho or expressing that, masculinity that they feel like they have to bury inside. And you have a lot of guys right now that are immersing themselves into this whole metaverse, this 3D reality or whatever the case may be, and they're living out their fantasies in that atmosphere. And it's like, at some point, what is that going to do to the physical male? It has a reaction to our body as well, so
yeah,
hey,
well,
we can't continue to have our balls stepped on.
But we don't, man. We continue to step on our own, and I think that's the point. And the bigger point of this, and in talking about this video, is we spend a lot of time on this show talking about the big picture, right? We talk about what's going on in the news. We talk about what's going on in the courtrooms. We talk about all of these things. And the truth of the matter is that we're consuming this. Ultimately, in my opinion, it's garbage, right? And we consume this stuff, and we talk about this stuff, and we internalize this stuff, and we have emotions about this stuff. And the reality of it is, at the end of the day, right, we have a choice in terms of how we're taking in our information, right? Just because we're in a tough place, right? Like if I'm in a tough place as a guy and I watch that video and that speaks to me emotionally, that will send me down a spiral of, oh, woe is me, I'm alone, I've got nobody. That's on a small scale. That's just me. That's just that video. What about the average American who's taking a look at the fact that their dollar doesn't go as far anymore? They're one job away from being homeless. They are worried about a war. If you've got kids that are 18, you're especially worried right now, right? You've got all the crap going on. You got the protests going on, and we haven't. I mean, we're just getting started with America's version of the convoy. I mean, the news cycle is about to ratchet up big, or as a previous president would put it, bigly. And when it does ratchet up, and when it does get chaotic, and it does get stressful, we will all be glued to our televisions, absorbing this information, internalizing it, and owning it as if it's our own, as if there's something that we can do about it. The truth is, there's not a damn thing any of us can do about any of the stuff that we're seeing on the news. And so going forward, I want to offer sort of a paradigm shift.
I think we can rebel. You know what I'm saying? There's ways.
Well, but that's this, and that I'm glad you brought that up, right? That there is, it's not that we're hopeless or powerless. Right. But there's nothing that you or I are going to do tonight, right, to stop what's going on in Ukraine. There's nothing that you and I can do anything about, the convoy or mandates or any of that kind of nonsense, right? We can talk about it, but that's it. We can't actively do something about it. And the paradigm shift that I'm looking to offer up is, as a man, especially when I get stressed out, I don't cope well when there's nothing I can do about it, right? When there's nothing that I can get busy doing to try to fix whatever the stressful situation is. And when it comes to the news, there's nothing that you can do. However, the paradigm shift is this, and this is kind of inspired by us getting booted last week and not having a show, and because we talked about the naughty things you're not supposed to talk about on YouTube.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
That time off. So thank you, YouTube. That time off gave us an opportunity to sort of regroup and kind of come back to the table with something new. And so, for me, and I'm going to share this, and then I'm going to pipe down and let Nick be a part of the show too, since it's both of us in the title. Is two paradigms. Paradigm one is we can take a look at what's going on in the world right now, right? We can watch the news, we can internalize it, we can have feelings about it, and all of that, knowing that there's nothing that we can do. And if we focus on that, we'll acknowledge something that's unavoidable, which is the fact that this whole thing, right? Not just the United States, not just government, not just in Canada, all around the world, this system is crumbling. It's falling apart. Nobody's currency is safe. Nobody's national security is safe. Nobody anywhere is happy right now. Even Russians are protesting Russia and what they're doing in Ukraine. Nobody's happy, and that's because government is failing. That mechanism, that machine, everything they stand for is falling apart. Not only that, the currency, which is the only thing that keeps them in power, is utterly corrupted and is falling apart as well. If we choose to focus on that, I believe that is scary stuff. I don't see how you can acknowledge those things and not go, oh my God, the sky is falling, because the sky is falling. That's the first paradigm. And that's the paradigm that most of us choose to see this reality through. Alternatively, if we acknowledge that the current situation, the current mechanism, the current government, the current structure of control is falling apart and failing, right? We can recognize that the end of something means the beginning of something new. And if we start looking at the world that, wow, this is the beginning of something new, and we start to look at it from that perspective, we can start to realize there are things that we can do actively, immediately, right now on our own, right, to impact the outcome. And for me, one of the things that I want to focus on with the Nick and Shane show going forward, and it's not that we won't talk about all the good stuff there is to talk about, but again, I'm going to pound home over and over and over again, these stories matter because we're emotionally attached to them, but what can we do? And I think the focus, right, for me has always been where can I find the small L libertarians, right? People who feel the need for freedom, people who desire the need for freedom, but that don't yet necessarily identify as like the big L, I'm part of the Libertarian Party kind of thing. So anyhow, man, that was a lot.
Libertarian effort right here. I mean, the people that are out there protesting and speaking out against pretty much these authoritarians, trampling all over people's rights, our human rights, natural rights, and abusing their authority. So yeah, they are in a sense libertarians because they're acting in the fact that they want to fight for people's liberty.
Yes.
So yeah, I would definitely call them that. You don't have to be affiliated with any political party in order to be a libertarian. The convoy protesters are definitely that. Hopefully we don't get banned by YouTube for saying such a thing, but we believe that anybody that stands up against tyranny does that. Right now they're trying to. So what's crazy is you have a whole lot of people on the left, saying that Ukraine should arm themselves to, defend themselves against Russia. And it's like, okay, so if you support people being able to arm themselves to defend themselves, when it comes to America, you shouldn't be against any type of rights that would, I guess, laws that would get rid of people's restriction from exercising their right to bear arms. Yeah. But
here's Nick, you know what? You bring up a good point though, because here's something that you said that I would actually like to bring up about the left, which is the left in America is actually very, very libertarian in many of its, right, the willingness to protest, the willingness to step up, the willingness to say something, the willingness to stand up. Man, those are all small L libertarian attributes.
Mm-hmm.
Libertarians don't put up with that crap, right? Now, again, it's the left, so we need to sell them on big L libertarian solutions, right? But they are very small L libertarian, and the fact that they're willing to step up and say something. And I just, as somebody who's, I think we need to have as big a tent as possible, and I'd like to open the door to anyone who leans to the left. Welcome, come into our tent. Nick comes from a left-leaning background, so you're in good company, right? So, and I think that for me, it's all about community and building, and so yeah, you're right. We definitely do disagree with America's left on and we see the hypocrisy, right? We want Ukraine to arm themselves, but we don't want to see American citizens arming themselves. It's good for a country, but not good for individuals. Of course, for sure, the hypocrisy in that is there. We get it, but at the same time, I'm still going to say, yay, for those of you on the left, welcome to the small L libertarian movement in the
right. I guess that's a way to look at it.
Dude, it's got to be optimism from here. We got to look. It just does, I think, because we could bash Democrats, we can bash the left all day long, we could bash Republicans and the right for an equal amount of time. It doesn't do any good. And if we're really looking for small L move forward solutions, and we want to build that community, and we want to use this show for that, but by all means, man. That's me. I see the positive in it. I see the positive in us getting banned from Google.
Here's one I wanted to actually bring up. Hopefully a way to encourage people to become small L libertarians. When it comes to our money, we're in the midst of a crisis here, a global pandemic. Millions of Americans have lost their jobs, can barely make their rent, are barely able to keep food on their tables. Yet we have our government giving away $500 million to Nepal. No strings attached, just $500 million. Here you go. And it ends up turning into a protest in their country because, the government there wanted to take the money and the people didn't want to have that, again, that contribution being given to them by the American government, because they know it's a payment that's going to come with some type of special favors, and they don't just give that money for free.
That's right.
And if they're not going to even use that money to help the American people, then what are they doing, turning around and using that money to again help the people of Nepal, I guess. So
yeah,
I look at one of those stories that get brushed under the rug.
Yeah, well, dude, I don't want to make you sick with my eternal optimism, but there you go, man. There's your sign. The machine is falling apart. Not only is it broken in the sense that the federal government is willing to hurt Americans by depriving them of their own tax dollars, right? But the people they're trying to give the shit to doesn't even want that. No, we don't want it.
Right.
Get out of here. It's broken. That the machine is dying. I don't know how else to put it, you guys.
Yeah, like I said, people gotta rebel. You gotta rebel.
We do, but there are, and we'll talk about that. We'll spend some time on that. Like there are ways to rebel. There are things we can be doing right now. They're scary. They're not fun, but it takes courage to overcome the messages and the nonsense that we internalize that we get from our mainstream media.
Yeah,
we got another one, Nick.
Talking about this Ukraine-Russia conflict, and it's pretty much consuming the news cables right now. So wherever you turn, they're going to be talking about this. They're going to want to get people amped up. They're going to want you to express toxic masculinity. You know what I mean? And you shouldn't. Really, we're telling you right now, don't believe the hype. Whatever's going on in Russia, whatever is going on in Ukraine, Shane is absolutely right. There's nothing we can do about it. As men, why do we want to go get amped up, and want to go over there and fight their fight?
Or worse, amongst each other, why do we want to get amped up and pick a side?
Yeah, that is true.
What are you and I going to do? Argue which is better, Russia or Ukraine?
Or why we should be jumping in the fight. or
Yeah.
not,
And
because
and
to
of
say
course,
we should is to say that we need to be the policemen of the world and engage in conflicts when it comes to our allies, whatever fights they may be getting in, So no, we shouldn't be doing that. We've done enough of that already. Historically, it's cost too many lives, too much money, way too much money, and at this critical point in history for the entire world, we cannot afford to, for many reasons.
Of course, but again, apologies for the eternal optimism, but I look at that again, those headlines with Russia and Ukraine and all that. Anybody who grew up as an 80s kid, right? We're on the verge of war with Russia. How failed of a machine does the federal government have to be to get us into this situation?
Yeah.
How horribly inept must we have had of generations of representation and government, by the way, not just representation, but government, that got us to a point where we're on the verge of a war, supposedly a verge of a war with Russia, right? If we're not on the verge of a war with Russia and they're selling the narrative that, hey, we're on the verge of a war with Russia, well, now that speaks to desperation. Now that speaks to, hey, we want you to look at this shiny object over here that's super big and scary while we're doing some other stuff over there that we don't want you to pay attention to. Probably, namely, passing bills and doing things that just aren't getting anybody's attention right now because they're
giving away $500 million of our money,
Yeah, little stuff. Little stuff. We don't want you to see it. We don't want you to. Russia's scary. Ukraine, watch that.
Yeah.
And ignore right now. Definitely ignore. We don't want anyone talking about the fact that there is a convoy that it's already left California that's picking up steam that is coming across the country.
Yeah.
That protest is coming. They don't want to talk about it. I get it. Russia's a shiny object. But again, to be on the verge of war with Russia necessarily means that the structure of government, the structure of authority, the structure of what we all rely on for our safety, for our day-to-day lives, it is coming unraveled at the seams. It's falling apart.
Well, what do you think that people should do right now to prepare for it? Because like you said, it's falling apart. And if anything, it's scaring a lot of people. They see that as being unstable, and with that causes a bit of, reluctance in everything, wanting to continue to go to work, wanting to continue to go to school, wanting to continue to be a contributing member of society. So why not just stay home and watch it all fall apart?
Right. Right. Okay. So let's not do that. Yeah. Let's not do that.
Depression, like you said, people start going in.
Yes.
And then
first
you
things first.
On the lash out too.
Yeah. So first things first, stop watching TikTok videos and other media that feed narratives that are in your head that are negative. It's a good place to start.
Listening with this smartphone, what I'm saying?
But look, those are the negatives. Here's what I've discovered over the last couple of years is that technology also provides us positives. It turns out that instead of the garbage that's available for you to fill your head with, that is out there that is for free, if you make an investment of time and even a little bit of money, you'll find that there is a whole world of information and entertainment out there, right? That has absolutely nothing to do with the narrative, that opens doors to a new way of thinking, to a new paradigm, to a sense of self-worth and a sense of ability that, wait a minute, I'm not this destiny, right? That looks like it's going to happen with our country, with our world. It's not my destiny. And there are media and things that you can choose to fill your head with that are not the same old garbage. So definitely start with that. All right. So Tony can't even sell. Yeah, exactly.
$100 worth of old junk in my house without Uncle Sam. Yeah, see, and that's the part that pisses you off as a man, because it's like I should be able to just sell something, without another man claiming my damn property. I mean,
So Nick, let me ask you something, right? Let's put ourselves in Tony's situation. If it was you and you had $600 or more worth of stuff that you sold out of your house, right? What are the odds that you'd even for a moment consider reporting to the IRS that you sold your personal items for whatever price?
I think that's a negative, right?
Negative.
There.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Tony, I know it's scary and I know it's just not in your nature and I know it goes against the grain of what you've been told is right, but you know what? The IRS can go F themselves.
Absolutely. I think we need a tax revolt more than anything. You know, if we're going to call to action anything, we need to call to action a tax revolt, because that's what our country was founded on. And
without a doubt, and
more than ever, you know.
Yes, and we need to do that, and we need to do that in a reasonable and measured fashion, so that we don't get strike two. So by tax revolt, we mean there are certain areas of the tax law that we feel are worthy of challenging. We are certainly not telling anyone to not pay their taxes. We're not doing.
You pay your taxes anyway. I mean, they take them away from you involuntarily when you go out and work. You know, your income tax is them taking that away from you. If you are an employer, you know, that business tax is them taking away from you. You know, and the income tax, and then this tax, and then that tax. I mean, we're paying so many damn taxes just as being consumers, you know.
And what are we paying those taxes in?
This economic system. What's that?
Yeah, what are we paying those taxes in?
Why? We're paying it in fiat currency. We're paying it
in US dollars. Actually, we're paying it in US dollars. You want the answer to the tax problem, right? Use a different currency. There are many available to you now. Take the time to learn about them, right? If you care about freedom, if you care about your liberty, if you care about not being stuck in this, oh my God, the sky is falling paradigm, right? If you want to have a more positive outlook and you want to create a future for yourself that is independent of anything that happens with the debacle that is government, start using different forms of currency. They're available to you.
Even look at what's going on in Colorado. They became the first state to accept cryptocurrency as a payment for taxes. So it looks like
yeah, El Salvador, man. El Salvador is just straight out buying Bitcoin.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. They made that their what is it called? Their legal tender. And I believe the island of Tonga is doing so as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have other countries that are making cryptocurrency their currency of choice, preferred currency to do transactions, you know. So if we can open up that opportunity in America, imagine what it could be. The issues is with platforms like PayPal, goods and services now reporting the IRS directly. Yep, that is true. They send you the information and let you know that they are keeping track of all of your crypto purchases and all of that stuff. Like I said, they want their cut. And that's what this is all about. So we have to protest to say, why do you even deserve a cut? I mean, it's being considered right now by the Biden administration to introduce an executive order on cryptocurrency. So
what's this executive order?
They haven't really talked about it yet, but because, you know, there's been so much money being exchanged in cryptocurrency, billions, you know, and they're not getting their cut, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it's really all about. They want to figure out how can they claim a portion of what's being spent. But we're buying shit. Is being spent on things. It's keeping the economy going. It's just not your currency of choice. You know, that's the biggest difference.
Yeah. Look, them coming after cryptocurrency for taxes, all that kind of nonsense. Look, that's a fear tactic, right? They're using their size and money and intimidation to scare people like, oh, if you get into crypto, it's going to be a tax nightmare. Oh, you got to, in Colorado, right? Well, you can pay taxes in crypto now. That's a bunch they may accept crypto for taxes, but no, you can't pay taxes in crypto. I guarantee you Colorado is going to turn that crypto right into US dollars immediately so that the taxes are paid.
Unless they hold it.
They can hold it if they want to, but it's not going to do them any good from a spending perspective. Right?
It would if they, as a state, then shifted and, started creating their own. I mean, Colorado also even has smaller currencies that are like organic currencies that are local.
They do, but those are not legal tender, right? They do have local currencies, and in Colorado
they are locally.
Yeah, I applaud all of that. I'm all for it. Right, but at the end of the day, when it comes to big government, when it comes to Uncle Sam saying you made X in crypto or you sold your, made X dollars or whatever. If that is in crypto, here is a fact that the government cannot escape no matter how hard they try, no matter how much they intimidate you. They can't touch your crypto unless you give it to them.
Right.
They can't touch it. They can see it. They can know it's there. They can even know it's yours. They can't touch it.
Yeah. They can't touch it.
Don't be afraid of them anymore. Stop being afraid. They can't touch your crypto.
Yeah. And that's the thing is their fear is that they never will be able to do that, because there's so many that are being created right now, so many different opportunities to make money off of crypto, and people are becoming wealthy because of it. And they want to, again, be able to control who becomes wealthy and who doesn't. If they're being the one that distributes the wealth, then they're in control of everything that happens, all of our innovation and growth and evolution as human beings. So it's definitely time for us to break free. The main way that we could do it, again, is by rebelling.
But that's your rebellion right there, man. Adopt crypto, right? Stop feeding your brain with useless and pointless information that just drags you down mentally and brings you to a level where we're debating with each other, not you and I, but like with strangers on Facebook or wherever, right? Over whether or not we should go to we should do this Ukraine thing. Oh, we should go to war with Russia. Shut up. No, you don't know. Nobody knows.
Exactly.
Nobody knows what's actually happening in Ukraine. It's ridiculous. And yet we're going to take partisan sides and we're going to divide even further, right? And the idiots on the right and the idiots on the left, right, that are not in the know, that are just, armchair politicians, right? They're going to have strong opinions and they're going to be pointless and useless. And those opinions are going to be entirely fed by the mainstream media, which we all know is a bunch of nonsense. It's garbage. It's garbage. Stop doing it to yourselves.
They're going to be pulling the puppet strings,
That's all it is. About. Yeah. That's all it is. Tony, I feel like I didn't appropriately address that $600 thing. Look, man, I'm telling you, at the end of the day, you may get that. Thank you, Jenica.
All right. That's right.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, look, man, I know it goes against the grain. You may get they may report it to the IRS that you made $600. That doesn't mean you have to.
Who is going to report it?
Well, suppose like PayPal, right? If you make over $600 on PayPal, PayPal reports that to the IRS.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. I remember that whole deal.
Yeah. So my response
using PayPal.
Well, you stop using PayPal, and also, so what? Let them report it.
Yeah, let them report it.
Right? You're not going to jail for being a $600 tax cheat. I assure you. Right
now. The one thing I'll say protest against PayPal is because PayPal is notorious for stealing people's money, just shutting down their accounts, and taking it. Actually, let me see if I can find an article about it. But I think just recently they were sued because of it. Yeah.
Well, look, like there's going to be other platforms. There's going to be other ways to do stuff, and we just got to find them. Just it's not comfortable and it requires extra effort on our part. But if PayPal is going to screw you, Facebook Marketplace. If they're going to screw you, Craigslist. And yeah, it's going to be harder to do things for all of us, but it's a rebellion in the sense that, again, it starves the beast. And it's a worthwhile small thing that we can all do as individuals.
Right. I mean, we got to definitely take away our money, because that's the biggest asset, the biggest contributor and contributing factor to their assumed authority, is because we keep giving them our money. If we concentrate our wealth, keep it, and circulate it among each other, then we're going to be able to make each other richer, and starve them, like you said, them of the attention with not viewing any of their TV shows that feed you propaganda.
Exactly.
Just don't do it. And if they lose viewerships, then they lose the promoters, the sponsors and shit, who are really paying for it, which is big pharma and all of that. And they're going to be shitting their bricks, because they're going to be like, how do we gain their attention? How do we steal it back?
Here's the thing with civil disobedience. It takes 10%. If 10% of us act in a civilly disobedient manner, right, there is very little, if anything at all, that can be done about 10% of the population doing it. If 10% of the population does it, and there's nothing they can do about it, that 10% of the population will quickly grow to 20, 25, 50% and beyond, right? As people begin to recognize that there is nothing to be afraid of. And that is how you get change. Believe me, if we start starving the federal government in whatever way, shape, or form we're capable of doing it, I assure you they will respond. They will react. Some of it will be horrible and we won't like it. Some of it is going to be outstanding, because at some point somebody's going to go, oh, there's a lot of people that don't like what we're doing. We get it now. And maybe they won't. Maybe that's Pollyanna-ish of me. Either way, the system's crumbling. The machine's falling apart. It's all coming unglued. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So again, paradigm shift. Focus on the positive. Fill your head with shit that matters, that can help you, that can make your life better. If you've got kids that are school age, my God, don't send them to public school. Figure it out, find a way. I'm reading all over the place, by the way, that teachers are leaving the profession left and right. And it sounds like a lot of them are starting up their own little homeschool pods where they're dealing with 5, 6, 7 students at a time, and they're making just as much money, if not more, than they were making as teachers. It's almost as though there's a demand for that. Exactly. Crazy days.
Yeah, like you said, you got to starve the system. If they're trying to force you to adhere to certain standards, since we can't talk about the virus that shall not be named,
correct,
then you just got to not participate, Right. Don't take your skills, your profession, your knowledge, your experience, everything that's valuable about what you offer to them. Make it directly available to the consumer, because they're there. If anything, they're looking for that outlet. They're looking for it. You just got to present yourself. So if anything, that's what I feel is most inspiring about the whole Web3 aspect, is because it takes the money away from the powerhouses, the monopolization, the big corporations that have controlled our media this entire time, and put it into your hands, directly into your hands, to where you not only become the provider, but you become the benefactor of that by way of, cryptocurrency or NFTs or, whatever it is that you can offer on the blockchain and get paid for it. It's like people got to see the bigger opportunities that are there versus limiting their, their understanding to only think money only happens in one way.
Yeah, and you know
what's being provided to them, you know.
Yes, those are great points. I would add to it, right? You mentioned the word opportunity, right? And I think one of the scary things for people is that we believe that all our opportunity is in the old paradigm, is in this crumbling infrastructure piece of crap thing that's fallen apart. That no opportunity lies there. All the opportunity has been eaten up and it's gone, and the people that can make money from it are the ones that have the money from it.
Right.
There's in this new paradigm of opportunity, right, of positive thinking and opportunity, when you start rejecting what has been considered common sense knowledge, right, whether that has to do with food, whether that has to do with environmentalism, whether that has to do with money, whether that has to do with employment, whatever, when you start recognizing, right, healthcare is another, right, that thing is an absolute dumpster fire, right, American healthcare, and actually healthcare in general across like Western countries, what a garbage product. And again, when you start to learn about the things that you can do for yourself on your own so that you're not feeding that beast, so that you're not dependent on a healthcare system that's run by a pharmaceutical industry that doesn't care at all whether or not you get healthy. In fact, they make money the sicker that you are. If they can just manage your disease, right, they're happy. That's not healthcare. That's not a doctor helping fix you.
It's funny you bring that up because this is actually a term that's used in the whole crypto community. It's called fear of missing out, aka FOMO, FOMO. So it's fear of missing out, fear of not being included in something such as an interesting or enjoyable activity that others are experiencing. If anyone in history should have died from FOMO, it would be Emily Dickinson. So I think a lot of people, especially men, you know, I hate to be, you know, prejudiced against our female audience out there, but, you know, guys, we have a fear of missing out on certain things, especially when it comes to money opportunities, you know, because we're like, we got to get in on the next best thing so we can be able to provide.
Right.
You know, natural instinct that we have is to want to provide.
Yeah.
So at least the majority of us do.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I do think that's a masculine trait, is the desire to provide.
Yeah, it's the hunter-gatherer part of who we are. You know what I mean? So we want to naturally be providers. So when presented with a, you know, financial opportunity, we run away from it. Because we look at the risks involved, like what what's his name, Tony was saying about the $600. You know, that $600 is now being held by someone other than who it should be, you know, who it should be in possession of, which is Tony. You know,
right?
Instead of it going directly to him from whoever it was, PayPal is now the one in possession of it, and they can hold on to it, you know, they can report it to the IRS, and now the IRS is going to be, you know, wiggling their fingers and, you know,
and all of this feeds that narrative too, right? Because here's the thing, Tony is incentivized not to sell his goods. Whatever those things are, right, that he's would have sold, he's now incentivized not to sell because he's going to lose money on the deal. The person who would have bought those things, who desperately may want those things or even need those things, is now not going to have an opportunity to get them, or at least have one opportunity taken away. Because in this case, the seller's like, I don't know. I don't want to deal with this IRS thing.
Yeah. And what does that do to trade? You know,
Of course. So trade, right? When we think of trade, we think of businesses, and we all know that trade right now is not good. But when you think of trade, even on the personal, peer-to-peer level, man-to-man, person-to-person, if we're killing that too, look,
you can't even sell anything on Craigslist anymore without the damn, government getting involved, trying to dictate how much you're selling, and the ads, and it's just ridiculous, man.
It is, and yet we have all the means available to us. Look, the blockchain isn't just for crypto. I mean, I look at platforms like Zion, or I look at platforms like why can't Ben Swann's platform, Sovereign?
Yes.
Sovereign and Zion. If those of you who don't know, those are two social media platforms that both have a ton of news. If you want to ingest the news, they have a ton of news, and they cannot be blocked. The only way to shut them down is to shut the internet down. That's the beauty of blockchain. That's why cryptocurrency isn't going anywhere.
Right, so exactly.
You can get blocked on YouTube, but I'm telling you, it will not be long until all of a sudden names like Sovereign, names like Zion, right? Those are household names like YouTube. And they're going to be just as big and just as popular as YouTube feeds the beast and falls apart as the beast falls apart.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? All this
capital to support it too.
Of course. Yeah. Look what happened to Facebook. Just lost what, like $30 gazillion the other day in the stock market, its value, right? Because they're playing ball with big government. Google's going to start losing money, especially if there are alternatives that are viable alternatives. And if they're not already out, they will be. I think there's a lot of viable Google alternatives. But the point is that all of these things that are sitting here doing what government says to do, and that are propping up censorship and are propping up narratives that we know to be false, all of those things, they are going to go the way of the dodo as well, right? As your government collapses and gets desperate, those businesses are also going to be in the same dire straits.
True.
Right? All the opportunity is in the new paradigm. All the opportunity is in something other than this crumbling piece of crap that we call government, that we believe is our reality. It's not.
So stop buying into it. Stop buying into it with your attention. Stop buying into it with your money. Definitely with your money. Stop buying into it with your energy, period.
Yes.
That's what your money represents also.
Yes.
The amount of energy that you put into making it, and now you're giving it away.
Yep. So, and look, speaking of money, if you're afraid of crypto, gold, precious metals, fine. Do something that's a safe haven. Gold's not going anywhere. That's always going to be valuable. Precious metals will always be valuable, regardless of what the currency is.
But gold dips pretty badly too.
Well, look, man. So does crypto. So do stocks. Yeah.
As much as crypto does, cryptocurrencies. I don't see an ounce of gold getting to $60,000, each, like Bitcoin is or was, or whatever the case may be, or even $40,000, whatever it is now.
That's correct. However, I guess I'm saying that in terms of safeguarding what you have in terms of store of value.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Gold is much safer.
Better than that fiat currency. Yeah,
exactly.
Get rid of
exactly.
So for sure.
Yep.
Keep that limited.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely. Speaking of limiting the amount of fiat currency that you have in your pocket, Shane and I want to do that. We want to increase the amount of cryptocurrency that you can have in your wallet.
I feel a segue coming up. We
got to do that before we get out of here. Of course, we're working on a whole lot of things with our breadcrumb NFT. Please join the whitelist now, okay? Before this thing explodes, you guys, we're trying to give you an insider tip. This is going to be, again, one of the biggest NFT projects for 2020 and beyond. So check it out. All it is an NFT that you're going to buy to sell and make money off of. That's what the biggest excitement is around the NFT community right now, is everybody wants to make money off of NFTs, whether it's buying some digital artwork or digital real estate or whatever the case may be. They want to buy an NFT and make money. This NFT has been made to do exactly that. So please check out our website, breadcrumbnft.com. and connect with us on Twitter at breadcrumbin. Breadcrumbin. All right.
Yeah.
Tony says before we go, my government dictated monopoly cable and internet provider literally emailed me encouraging me to cut the cord with cable and switch to streaming. Seems legit. See, yeah. I mean, everybody's streaming everything anyway. You know what I mean? Just cut the cables.
Exactly.
Forget about it. You know, it's time to cut the wires away from the monopolization. You know, get away from the centralization of all of our powers. You know, our economic power. That's the one thing we all get stronger off of. So we want to strengthen each other wherever we are in the world. We can do it right here with breadcrumbnft.com. We're going to be sure to do exactly that.
And hey, speaking of breadcrumb NFT, here's how it works for anybody who still doesn't know. I buy a breadcrumb NFT, right? I sell it to Nick. That's one sale. Nick turns around and he sells it. That's a second sale. When the person he sells it to sells it for the third time, you get 1% of that purchase price, whatever it is.
Now, whatever that may be, okay? A lot of people don't realize the potential of, I guess, the amount of money these NFTs could be sold for. So let's actually do a quick search and find out what are some of the top selling NFTs and how much they're going for. Yeah, here's one of it right here. Most popular and best-selling NFT collections this week. You guys have seen these Bored Ape things, right? These ape-looking pictures, the profile pictures. They've been selling for $36 million. Okay? There's other ones. Bored Ape, another popular one, going for $18 million. NFT World, $16 million. That's digital real estate. So the amount of money that some of these NFTs are being bought and sold for is to the tune of millions of dollars, as you can see. So with our NFT, we're doing exactly that. We're giving you the opportunity to make that amount of money by buying the NFT and then simply selling it. Whatever it resells for, it could sell for $250. Now you just made $50. But 3 sales later on down the line, we're going to give you a breadcrumb, you know, for simply making that initial purchase, you know, into breadcrumb. And that's going to be whatever that resale is later on down the line. So if it resales by that third time for $1,000 or $5,000, whatever the case may be, $5 million, you're going to get 1% of that. Okay. And yeah, a lot of people are putting royalties in their NFT sales right now. You got Snoop Dogg that is offering sales of his music through his new record label, Death Row, which is a NFT label he's announced. So, and this is a way for you to again make money, a commission or residual income or whatever you want to call it, because there is no cap on it either. You can buy 1, you can buy 5, you can buy 15, 20, you know, how many ever you want.
Well, within reason, right? Because there's only going to be 700 available when we launch.
True. Yes.
And which by the way, helps you because now there's a scarcity in the market. What I'm seeing, Nick, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the average NFT launch, right? Minting, like some of these big ones, it's 8, 10, 12,000 different, different NFTs in a given launch. We're doing a total of 1,000.
And that's it.
That's
so
it.
It's going to add to the scarcity and rarity of the NFT that we're going to be offering to you. So we, again, are giving you the first opportunity by heading over to breadcrumbnft.com. Drop your email in there so you can be added to our whitelist, and we'll keep you up to date as to when we do launch those NFTs. because they're going to be hot. They're going to be selling like hotcakes. Hot breadcrumbs flying everywhere.
Hot
Anyways, we're
breadcrumbs.
gonna get out of here, you guys. We do appreciate you for being here. Please connect on social media. Governor Wildstar on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff. We're going to get our Nick and Shane Facebook up here one of these days. But
I suppose I should give you that information.
Yeah, as soon as we add that to the ticker, you'll see that down at the bottom. But in the meantime, please be sure to connect. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to click subscribe. Be sure to get all of those notifications as to when we drop more videos. We got our punishment. We're going to do our best to make sure we don't get any more strikes and get banned from YouTube anymore. So we'll keep coming back each and every week. All right. So,
hey, Nick,
what's up?
Don't forget in the comments below, post a link to your video that you did, the TikTok one for breadcrumb, because it's a very well done video.
I will do that.
Everybody check that out
in the description. All right. But yeah, if you're on connect with me on TikTok right there, Governor Wildstar on TikTok, and you can see the video. Even if you don't have a TikTok account, you can just go over to my TikTok account and see the video. And I added it to my YouTube channel as well. So it's there for you. Just check out all of the videos. But yeah, please share that video, spread the word, and find out more about what we're doing, because it's going to be big stuff. Nick and Shane, we appreciate you for being here with us. Take care until next time. We about to hear peace. All right.
Be positive, stay positive.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Nick.
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 Shane. Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm 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 Shane.